slashing shares of Twitter, which surged. Elon Musk has a 9% stake. There was thought he was on the board, off the board. So there's much to discuss when it comes to the social media space. And we bring in our expert panel. And Ali Moghrabi is with us, equity analyst over at Morningstar, and Lance Ulanoff, U.S. editor-in-chief at Tech Radar. Thank you both for being with us. So Lance, I'll start with you. Musk, Twitter, asset, not an asset. What do you think is happening here? Takeover?
Yeah, it all happened so quickly. It's not like, Musk has been a deeply involved Twitter user for years now. He has 84 million followers. Literally what he tweets moves markets, changes the value of cryptocurrency. And he's gotten in trouble on Twitter with the SEC. And him becoming this major owner, almost a 10% share owner, and then very quickly being joined on the board, it seemed, was almost too much for me to take. And then suddenly, just as quickly, he wasn't joining the board. Now, I will tell you, in sum, the big picture here is that Musk not being on Twitter's board gives him more control and more impact, because it allows him, most importantly, to continue to talk on social media about this product for which he owns a huge share. And he can still do this because if he was on the board, it's going to really kind of muzzle him. And I don't know if this was a fake out move, but he is left in quite a powerful position. And what you mentioned about takeover, that's one of the areas. He no longer is going to be stopped from owning more than 14%. He owns a little less than 10%. He can go over 14%. So he could, over time, take control of the entire product.
And Ali, what are your thoughts here as we have this real big presence, Elon Musk and Twitter? I noticed here at Morningstar you have 5 stars for Meta and also Pinterest, 4 stars for Snap, but only 3 stars on Twitter. Why is that?
Yeah, Nicole. Well, actually, the 3 stars on Twitter, that's mainly because of the jump in the stock price last week after the news that Elon Musk owned around 9.2% of the company. So that 25%, 27% jump in the stock price basically brought it closer to our fair value estimate, and that's why it became a 3-star. There's still upside, of course. It's down a little bit today, but in terms of what we think regarding Musk's current position, I actually completely agree with Lance. He certainly has much more leverage in terms of campaigning much more effectively for what he wants the platform to be like, what additional features he wants to be added to the platform. Using his words, to what extent should free speech actually be limited, and all of those things. So, probably, expect him to actually, accumulate additional shares if the stock price keeps coming back down. That's what we're thinking. So he does have a lot more leverage right now when he's not part of the board.
Okay, so he has more leverage with Twitter. We could see what happens is he probably maybe could acquire more shares of Twitter. So Lance, when you look at the group, what are some of the trends in the social media space? I know you had Meta on here in your notes.
Yeah.
Which ones could be the winners or losers?
Well, the big winner still is TikTok. Ascendant, highly popular with the most important demographic, teens. And why do teens so important? Because they grow into buyers, and there's a tremendous advertising system on TikTok right now. Facebook Meta is incredibly concerned about it. They had a flat growth in the last quarter. It really hurt them, and they've built out this product called Reels, which is doing well and could over time win. But in the meantime, it doesn't seem to be growing and changing quite as quickly as TikTok. TikTok is that thing that's in the zeitgeist. So, it's not really a concern for Twitter, because in a way it's almost dealing with a different sort of market space than Facebook, which is always trying to grow globally, really wants everyone on it. And, it's struggling to grow past a certain limit. TikTok right now has a lot of space. But the other thing that all of these guys have to worry about is regulation. when, where, how, what is going to mean? Does it mean a breakup for Meta into its various parts? Does it change how they manage free speech or how they control speech on their platforms? There are a lot of questions, open questions, for all of these platforms. And don't even get me started about the idea that TikTok ultimately is owned by China, and that will remain a concern for anyone.
Overall, I mean, that's something that we've been talking about for some time, about access to data, right? When you're on TikTok. What are your thoughts on the big picture here, Ali, as you look at the group best position? I know some seem to be better valued than others. For example, you said, you dropped the number of stars on Twitter only because it had run up some. Which ones are the best positioned in social media, and why do you say that?
Sure. Actually, I do agree with Lance to a certain extent. TikTok is certainly a big competitor, has become a big competitor for Meta or Facebook slash Instagram. But we do still have confidence in Meta because it does have that very strong network effect. It has those billions and billions of users, not only on Facebook, the traditional Facebook, but also on Instagram. And regarding TikTok and also Meta's Reels or Facebook's Reels, if what Facebook successfully did with Snap's stories is an indication, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually are going to be pretty successful in monetizing the users on Reels and actually accelerating the adoption of Reels by its users. So we think that represents potential upside. And also, I think it's a little bit discounted too much, mainly because the market is probably thinking, my goodness, these guys are burning a lot of cash, $10 billion in cash on Metaverse. And they're not necessarily taking into account the fact that their family of apps segment, basically the Facebook, the Instagram, the WhatsApp, and so forth. That's a business that's actually has an operating margin of over 40%. And the top line growing still in the teens. So it's still pretty attractive to us.
Yeah, thank you both very much. Ali Maghrabi of Morningstar and Lance Ulanoff of Tech Radar. Thank you. Wonderful to speak with you.